Welcome everyone. I'm so glad you're here to learn about Seesaw. A couple of our goals for this beginning session, and we'll have sessions 2 and 3 in coming weeks, but today we just want to talk about how to access your class or create your class if you need to, how to add students, and it's a little different. Even if you knew in the fall how to add your students, there's a little twist right now. So we're going to talk about adding students and then helping them sign in. So our main goal today, the thing that we're going to spend the most time on, is getting that class ready, adding your students if you need to, helping students sign in, and then I'm going to show you how to add a video or a photo, and then how you can help your students add videos and photos, and then you're going to need to approve those before they go into the classroom. So we're just looking at some basics. There is a ton of stuff that Seesaw can do. There's so much more than what we're going to talk about today, but this is where we're going to start just to get your feet wet. If we know, well, if we do know now, if we think about distance learning as a 9-week situation, we don't need to start week 1 with every single thing in our tool bag. We kind of want to hold some things back because I think week 4 and 5 is when we're going to need a little bit of a freshening up and something new for our students. So that's our plan for today. But before we start that, we actually might have some people who need to know what in the world is Seesaw. So here's the idea of Seesaw. Starting here, students use tools, they capture their learning, they show what they're doing, and it goes into kind of a digital portfolio. Teachers get to see what students are doing, they get to understand their work. The recording feature where students can talk about what they're doing is so amazingly helpful to help you really get a feeling for where they are and what they're thinking, especially when we don't have that face-to-face where you can ask questions as easily. So that Seesaw is a great tool for getting those learning insights. And then in other times, families being able to connect and check their work is super helpful because usually Seesaw would be happening in a classroom. That's not quite the situation we're in right now, but in the fall, that'll be super helpful. So this is the basic look of a Seesaw page. Okay, if you look on the right, you've got your journal, and there's the class journal with everyone, and then every student has their own journal. There are activities that we're going to talk about in session 2, or there's a video on the mission control site. There's an inbox where you can make announcements, and then these couple other things we're not going to talk about today. The middle is just the feed where everyone's posts go, usually. Right now, students can only see their own posts unless you share them with everyone. But this is the feed of student work, okay? So that's the basic look of Seesaw. So let's get started, getting the class ready for students. Now, over the summer, we subscribed to, I'm gonna go back for a sec. Over the summer, we subscribed to Seesaw for Schools for our TK Kinder and first grade classes. And when we did that, we were able to roster them through Clever. So if you're a TK Kinder or first grade teacher, when you go into Seesaw, you're going to see your classes already created and your students are in there. Okay, so you guys aren't going to need to add your students. Then in winter, I think we added second grade to our Seesaw for Schools. But if we had done the rostering through Clever, it would have needed to kick everyone out of the second grade classes and to create them. So second grade, we didn't do the rostering. And then Seesaw right now is offering Seesaw for Schools to everyone. So everyone has all the Seesaw for Schools features right now, no matter what grade you teach. But I wanted you to know that TK Kinder and first grade, your class is already added, and the rest of us are going to do that ourselves. Okay, so getting your class ready. The first thing you're going to do is sign in as a teacher. Now you can do this on the computer, or you can do it with the Seesaw class app, okay? I've put over here, this is what the Seesaw class app looks like, or you're gonna go to web.seesaw.me, okay? And then you're gonna choose sign in. And surprise, surprise, you are the teacher. When you choose that, you're going to see a screen that looks like one of these. Choose sign in with Google. I know you've got the information here. I know you want to put in your email and your password. Don't, just click the Google button. It's so much easier. Sign in with Google with your wyneme.org. That way you don't have to remember a different password. So Google sign in as a teacher, okay? When you do that, you might be prompted to create your class. If you are, and that means you don't have a class yet, you're gonna put in a name for your class. Okay, try to remember to include the school year and your grade level, and then anything else. And then choose your grade level here. The only reason they ask for this really is because they're going to email you a getting started guide. So if you're a combo or if you're a special education teacher who serves a couple grades, choose the grade that you would like ideas for students working at that grade level. All right. And then the green check mark always means I'm done with this part. So get familiar with that Seesaw green check mark. It means I'm done with this part. Okay, so that's how you create a class. If you already have your students in Google Classroom, go ahead and use the import from Google Classroom button. There are a lot of sites that have that. It's so helpful when you have your class into Classroom. Okay, so use that, it'll take your students in. All right, now, just to take a break for a second from setting up a class, I want you to know your name is up in the top left corner. And when you click there, you're gonna have these options. If you have a class here that you don't use anymore, okay, maybe it was last year's class, whatever, we wanna archive that. We wanna get it off of your list. If you have last year's class, but you don't have a class for this year, you're gonna go here to create new class. All right, so you've got some options here. But if you have a class, let's talk just for a second. If you have a last year's class or an old class, you're gonna click to open that class. And then you're gonna come over here to the wrench, that's the settings for the classroom. And when you scroll all the way to the bottom, you have archive class. Okay, so we just wanna keep things clean, get your old things out of the way. A lot of times I talk with teachers who are like, I've got this class I set up 3 years ago. I don't know how to get rid of it. This is how. Click over here, choose the class, go to the wrench, go all the way to the bottom, and you'll see archive class. All right? Okay, commercial break over. Now, you've created your class, either when you signed in or you used that button on the side that I was just showing you in your name here to create a new class. But you've got your class. You probably don't have any students. So what you're gonna need to do is click this plus students down at the bottom. There are a couple different ways to do that. I think this is the easiest. Go down to add students and you're gonna see a couple options, probably. Maybe they had you set this up when you started your class, I don't know. But for now this isn't the advice I'll give you in September, but for now, everyone is going to have their own device that they're working on. We're not in a shared device situation like the first grade class that has 10 or 8 or whatever, okay? So right now, you're gonna choose one-to-one devices, okay? Right now, everyone's gonna choose no to Google. We're just gonna keep it simple, okay? So no to Google sign-on, one-to-one devices if you're setting up your class. If you already have your class created and you have different settings, don't worry about it. You don't need to fix this. But if you're setting up your class right now, these are the choices you want to make, okay? And then it's gonna ask for your students. Now, you can go through, type the name, enter, type the name, enter, type the name, enter, or you can go to this paste a list of students. If you have like a roster from Q, copy and paste. Copy and paste them right here. And then green check mark always means done with this part. Okay, so that's how you add your students in. All right, so we've created a class, we've added students, and then it's probably gonna show you this page right here. Totally ignore this, you don't need it. You can just close it right up. You are not going to need to use this for sign in. So if it brings up a PDF with a sign in post or anything like that, don't worry about it. Okay, here's what we wanna do before we do anything else. Let's take a look at the settings. So again, this wrench in the corner is gonna show you all your settings. There are a lot of options in here. And the cool thing is Seesaw was created by elementary school teachers. So they've made everything super user-friendly, super easy to just plain language. It's not made by techie people who use words that don't make sense to normal people. I don't know that I wanted to say that way, but there it is. All right, what I want you to check, students, likes, and comments. And I want you to see if those are on, because it's good for students to be able to comment to each other and to be, it's just a little heart to click to like. Sometimes in the classroom we discuss, do you want those right now? Do you want to use them one by, or gradually, like we're just going to have the likes, then we're going to have a comment? we're in a time right now where we want to facilitate as much communication and bonding and connecting as we can. So you want to leave the likes and comments on, and then check these buttons, okay? Check to see that new items need to be approved. And then you also want to make sure the sample student is enabled, okay? This one will let students edit their things. I don't have a problem with that. This one, seeing each other's work isn't going to be an issue right now, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, so make sure you've got likes and comments, and then make sure these are toggled on. If you ever need to add students, manage students is another way. If you find that you have a student whose little icon is a turtle and they are terrified of turtles, you can go into manage students and you can change their icon there, okay? So you have some options in this manage students also. So you've got a lot of things in that wrench. These student settings are ones you want to kind of look at real quick. Okay, so getting the class ready, adding your students. If you have any questions about that you can think of right now, post them in the chat. So your view that you'll have is going to be your students right here, where they'll all be added in.
Liz?
Yes.
We have a great question. Can we talk a little bit about Seesaw on iPads versus Chromebooks? On a Chromebook, do they download the app first? And there's a concern that sometimes
Yes.
Chromebooks will not let you download stuff.
Okay, so that's a legitimate concern on Chromebooks, because Chromebooks don't let you download stuff. That's what makes them less expensive and faster, is that they don't have storage. They have a temporary download. So coming back, hang on. That's the slide I want. Right here on iPads, they're going to go to the Seesaw class app. Okay. If it isn't already loaded on iPads, it's definitely in self-service, but I think it's probably automatically on everyone's iPad. Okay. So Seesaw class is going to be on an iPad where you sign in. On the Chromebook, web.seesaw.me is where they're going to go. Okay. And I'll show you a little bit more about student sign in a second. But there's not an app to save on a Chromebook. It's just the web address. Now that you've done that part, we're going to need to show students how they're going to sign in. There's a part that you need to do first to get ready, and then there's a part students are going to do. So I've got 2A and 2B on this one. So 2A is your part. Okay. Now, for distance learning only, this is just Seesaw's solution for the fact that we've got kids working at home. We used to use the family app to connect families, and I bet there are probably a lot of people who put their work in to get their families connected. But in the family app, students can't complete activities, and there are a lot of things they can't do. So for distance learning, students are going to go to the Seesaw class app at home or the website, and they're going to use a home learning code. Okay, the home learning code is going to let them complete activities, add all the things just like in the classroom. The thing that it's not going to let them do is see everybody's work. Okay, and here's why. I want you to think about that. If I'm a parent and I can see you're doing this work, well, let's see how this kid did it because they always seem to be doing pretty well. That sets up a lot of comparison, and that's really not protecting our kids' privacy for parents to have access to all the student work in the class. So Seesaw had to come up with a plan for that so that the whole stream wouldn't show all the student work, all right? So the home code is going to let the student do all the things, but not see every student's work. Another thing I was thinking of that being helpful, if we're not having everyone do things at the same time, my kid completes the work on Monday, someone else's kid is doing it on Thursday, they can go back and see how my person did it on Monday. You see what I'm saying? So we don't want that whole, I can see everyone's work. That's why we're using home learning codes. So you're going to generate the home codes, and here's how you do that. There's a blue button at the top of the screen. Now this is only on a computer. If you're using the iPad app, you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, so again, web.seesaw.me. You're going to sign in with the Google button as a teacher. When you go to your class, you'll see this button to get home learning codes. Okay. When you open that, if you have more than one class, you'll see your list of all your classes here, and you'll have two choices. The print code is 1 page per student. So if you're going to print something that's going to go home with families, print codes is what you want. If you download them, it's just going to be a spreadsheet, okay, that has each student and their home code. So every student has a different home code that's going to link them directly to their folder. All right, here's what the 1 pager, this is if you print the PDFs, this is what a 1 pager looks like. Okay, and you can do it in more than one language. So go to app.seesaw.me on a computer. It's actually the same address as web.seesaw. It goes the same place. Or the class app. Choose I'm a student, put in your code, or scan the QR, okay? Putting in the code's pretty easy. All right, so this is the big thing right now. I was just explaining. We want to use the home code. So you could have 1 page per student, or you could have the spreadsheet. But this code right here, it's actually 16 characters is what's going to get typed in. Okay, so that's your part. You need to get those home codes ready for your students. So you're creating your class if you need to, you're adding students if you need to, you're getting home codes. If your students are taking home iPads, okay, maybe they already have, I know some of our younger grades are going to be working on that in the next couple weeks. If they're already signed into the class app, they need to be signed out of the class app and signed in with the home code, all right? Because there's a difference. So they need to be in the home code when they're at home. I hope that makes sense. All right, are there any questions about home codes or getting those home codes ready?
There are indeed some questions, Liz.
Okay.
So here is, someone wrote in, my students have Seesaw and Clever. And can they sign into Clever and access Seesaw that way? And if they sign in through Clever, will they need a code for Seesaw, or will they automatically be signed in?
That's a really good question, and I don't know for sure what the answer to that is, but I'm going to find out.
So more to follow with that answer. Here's a good question. Why would we check that students can heart others' work or comment on their work if they are at home and can't see the work? So
because we're going to be able to share specific things. So a teacher can go in and maybe every student's going to submit a video, and a teacher can, okay, I do want to post this so everyone can see this piece of work. So teachers will be able to share some things with everyone if they choose.
Okay, and the home learning tab, can you see that on both the computer, or is that only on the iPad? The home learning tab.
This button is only on a computer. It's not going to show on an iPad.
Okay. And then there is and I think this, you might have already said we have to look into this. Do they have to get a home code every time or every session?
No, the home code should be a one-time sign-in. So it's connecting their account. So they only need the home code for sure on the iPad. They only need it.
If a teacher already has a class in Seesaw with no students, can they just go ahead and delete it, or should they archive it?
You can delete it.
One more.
Yes.
Once I get the home codes, do I go back in and sign in as a student with all of their home codes, or do I give these home codes to the students and parents?
My thought is give the home codes to the students and parents.
This teacher's asking, do we use our home computer when we assign lessons to the student iPads?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the web.seesaw.me and the iPad app, they're accessing the same Seesaw storage place. It's the same thing. So what you do on the computer is going to show on the iPad.
If siblings are sharing an iPad, do they have to re-enter the code every time they use it?
I don't know the answer to that. If your students have iPads and they might need to keep signing in, then do print that one page so they just have the QR code to scan every time to make it easy for them. Because I'm not sure about that.
And Liz, there's a question on exactly, can you go over again how to get this QR code for students?
Yes. Okay, it's right here. So on the computer, you go to the Get Home Learning Codes. You want to go to Print Codes. Okay, so Print Codes is going to generate this one page, and there's a whole QR code down here. Okay, any other questions?
Nope, we're good for now. Thank you.
So the next section. So what do students do to sign in? So this is going to show you how they're going to sign in. All right. At home, they're going to use the Seesaw class app. I crossed out Seesaw Family because if you have people who are already using Seesaw Family, you're going to need to tell them we're doing something new now. You're going to be using the Seesaw class app instead. Okay. Chromebooks are going to go to web.seesaw.me. Their screen's going to look like this and they're just going to click login. Okay. Once they access this, whichever based on their device, they're going to see a screen that looks like this. Okay. They're going to choose I'm a student. We're going to say nope on the signing in because that home code just goes right here. Okay. So the home code goes right here. And then if they have the QR, they can go to scan code. So they're going to use the home code or the scan code. If they do that, they're going to see a screen that looks like this, and then it's successful. They've accessed their class. All right. So this is the goal for signing in. If they see their class, notice I signed in here as Eddie Einstein. There's only one folder here. So Eddie doesn't have everyone's folder. They just have their own folder. Okay. And they see activities and they see an inbox. All right. So this is the student screen that they'll see after they sign in with that home code. All right, that's pretty much all it takes for students to sign in. I'm going to show you one more time in case you feel like that went really fast. Open the app or go to the website. On the website, they're going to need to click login. Choose I'm a student, put in their home code, and then they're going to see that. Okay, so I put the steps up here. Are there any questions about students signing in?
If students have their iPads at home, and the Seesaw app is already on the iPad. Does that mean that the teacher needs to inform the parents of their child's code?
Yes. If they have their iPad at home and they're using the class app that they signed into either with the QR code or the class code, the parents need to sign them out and sign them back in with the home code.
We're caught up.
Okay. All right, I tried to get that information before they went out, but just like everyone, there were a gazillion things going on, and I'm sure there are plenty of teachers that didn't get that message. But for student safety, we do need to have them signed in with that home code into the class app. Okay, all right, so that's the front side of the work. Now we're just gonna look at how to add things to your journal. When you look, and this is the teacher page, when you look here, this green plus sign is the magic button, okay? The green add button. When a teacher clicks on that button, you're gonna have a couple different options here, okay? This is the one you want to be able to add something to a journal. Now in the classroom, this is super cool because you can see this student's working. I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna post it for them and tag their name. That's not something we're gonna be able to do right now, but when you want to add something, you're going to go to the add button. You're going to choose post student work, and then you're going to see a screen that looks like this. Okay, these are all the options you have. Today, I'm going to talk about photo, and then there's also video. I believe the limit on video is a 5-minute video, but that's a pretty substantial amount of time. The other thing, and I'm not going to show you this today, but explore this note. This is basically lined paper where you can type something. And that's really helpful if you need to just post a, hey, it's Monday. I hope everyone's remembering this and this and this and this. It's a nice way to do announcements. Okay. And if you have a link to something, you can post a link to a video if you have a video for them to watch or whatever. Okay. So going back to picture, I want you to consider the options. Yes, you can take a selfie and you should. Yes, you can post a picture of anything that's interesting, but I want you to also think this could be students posting a picture of their work. After you finish this page and you've done this, whatever, post a picture of it, okay? I want you to build something. What could you build with these 5 supplies? Post a picture of it, okay? So it's not just pictures of people. There are so many options with this photo tool in Seesaw. Okay, so green add button and then add a picture. And then you're going to see, I skipped the next screen, but as you test it, you'll see There are 3 camera buttons. So on the iPad, on each side and the bottom, so that little kids, whichever one's closer, take a picture. On a Chromebook, it might ask, can I have permission to use the camera? That needs to be allowed. And the iPad sometimes has that pop up also, okay? What I want to show you here though, after you take the picture, it's going to go here. You've got all kinds of tools. You do not need to show your students these tools all at once. You probably know you have some that are going to find them on their own, but just so you know what they are, you can add text to your picture. You can type something, okay? I will tell you, you do need to instruct students, don't write over your face. Don't write over your work. I need to be able to see, use these tools around, all right? Microphone. You can record talking with this. If I wanted to say, this is the favorite thing in my room right now, I can explain all about that, okay? I can add another picture. And then there's some others in the more, I can't even remember right now. Down at the bottom, these are drawing tools. So this would be to, let's see, a pencil, a pen, a highlighter. This is a glow pen that gives like a neon effect, an eraser. And this is if you need to move something. So if you've got a text box or something and you want to move it, you can go there and move it. Okay, so these are things to play around with. Take a picture, play around with it. When I do introduction lessons, I often do take a picture of yourself and then write your name at the bottom with your finger. Okay, another thing I want you to notice, and I think this is a Seesaw for Schools feature, is this add page. Okay, if you have older students, have them add several pages to this. I want to see these steps. It could be, maybe it's a math thing and you want to see 4 examples of how to make 56. And so they're going to make these examples and you want them on different pages. It could be all kinds of things, but you can have additional pages here. And then again, green check mark means done with this part. Okay, so in Seesaw, you have so many options beyond just post a picture. There's so much they can do with this. This recording is a huge one to be able to record, okay? So when you're done, teachers are going to see which students does this need to go to. Okay, students aren't going to see this. Students are just going to go straight to posting to their own journal. For you, if you are posting something that you want everyone to see, you're going to tap this first box and it's going to go to everyone. Okay, if you're posting something, you've been talking with Sophie and Sophie needs extra help with something and you're like, you know what would really help you is if you could just see a picture of it done the way that it should be done. I'm going to take a picture in Seesaw. I'm going to send it just to Sophie. You would just send it to Sophie. Okay, does that make sense? I asked that question like I'm waiting for answers, sorry. Okay, so there's your option here. And then again, green check mark means I'm done with this part. Okay, if I forget to tell you later, if a student submits something and you want to share that with everyone, this is exactly the same thing you're going to do. You've got a 3-dot menu and then you can go to edit people. I'm going to try to remember to show you that, but you can edit people and assign it to everyone so everyone can see it. All right, that's just a thing we're going to need to do during this home learning time. All right, when you do that, it's going to show here. You can see it says everyone. And it's gone to everyone's. This is the teacher view. It's gone into everyone's view. Okay, now here's your like, here's your comment, here's the 3-dot menu that you are going to see on everyone's item that they submit. In this 3 dots, you can click on it and choose edit people to send it to everyone. Okay, so that's how you can submit a picture. You can do the same thing with a video. You can do the same thing with a note. But that's how you add things to Seesaw. Does that make sense? Okay, I think we talked through the other tools. This would be upload from, you could upload from anything from your computer. You could upload from Google Drive, whatever you have that you might want to attach. Okay, we'll get into those kinds of options in future weeks. All right, so photo. The drawing tool is exactly what I was talking you through, that you could draw on the photo, but it just gives you a blank canvas. So if you don't want to start with a picture, you want to start just with plain. There you go. All right. Are there any questions on adding a picture or a video?
There are some questions, Liz. What if a student didn't take the school iPad because they already had a device at home? So they declined and said, we're just going to use our device we have at home.
That's fine.
How do they access the app, this Seesaw app?
So it's in the App Store. Their parent would just need to go into the App Store and get Seesaw Class. It's free. So they can go and get Seesaw Class and download it.
Are teachers able to schedule posts on Seesaw ahead of time?
Not posts, no. When we talk about activities, you can schedule activities, but those posts go live.
Is there a way that teachers can text parents their child's QR code?
If you're texting with a parent, you can text them a photo and you can take a picture of the QR code.
That's a good idea. If we link a video to post for our students, how do we know it is an approved video? Or is there a way to find out?
That's a good question. So let's talk about YouTube for just a second. As we know in the classroom, sometimes you view a video in the classroom and your students can't see it on their device because of the filtering. But at that point, it's no problem because you go, oh, I'll just show it on the screen for everyone. At home, we're having that same issue because it's the same filter. We have a Google form that will be in the tech newsletter, which is going out tomorrow, that you can submit and just put in the links of the videos you want to whitelist, or you can put in a tech ticket, whichever is easier for you. Another option though, if you're recording a video, you can save it in your Google Drive and then, hang on, right here, you can upload it from your Google Drive, or you can get a share link and just share it so anyone can view it and put the link. So if you don't want to put your video on YouTube, you have these two options that would avoid that whole filtering thing. But if it's on YouTube, we are totally happy to whitelist those. It's just a little bit of a process for you to submit the link.
Is the QR code the same for all students, or does each student have a different QR code?
Every student has a different QR code. So that's unique to the student so that they're just linking to their folder. Okay. And having said that, we need to keep those really safe and secure. That wouldn't be something that anyone should post, or here's everyone's code, go ahead and choose yours so you can sign in. Those need to be given specifically to the student. It's like a password.
What's the difference between a post to student work and sending a message in the inbox?
I don't have a lot of screenshots prepared for inbox, but a post goes to everyone. When you go to that ad and you have announcement at the bottom, hang on, let me go back. There we go, send announcement. Here's how messaging works in Seesaw. Announcement, you send an announcement to everyone. As soon as they reply, that opens the one-way or the two-way communication that's private between the person who replied. So you could send an announcement to everyone. It's going to go into their inbox. And then once they've replied, you can reply and just have a conversation with that specific person. Did that answer that question?
That would be a great way to, we're asking everybody to do a live contact at least once a week. What a great way, efficient way to do a live contact with your students. How do you know when students have logged on through the class app with the home code? So in the family app, there's a green check mark next to the student's name. Do we have to wait until they upload something to know if they're using it? Okay. And are the Mystery Science videos already whitelisted?
I do not know the answer to that. I know that we are not able to whitelist channels because that would be super nice. But YouTube links aren't, they're not able to whitelist channels. So I am not sure.
Okay. So that'll be something we'll check and put on. Look for Liz's newsletter tomorrow for more information.
I'm making a list.
Hey, we're caught up with questions.
Okay.
Oh, to clarify YouTube sharing.
Yes.
Liz, do you mean that if you grab a YouTube video such as a storyline read aloud and link it to an activity, do I first need to send the link to the tech department?
just to make sure. Unfortunately, it's really easy in the classroom to grab a student device and see if it works, but we aren't really able to test that from home right now. So yeah, if you're thinking this might be, I can't guarantee that it's visible, then go ahead and submit the link and we'll get it whitelisted.
I actually have, I set up my own little Seesaw class and my own little Google Classroom. I only have Christine Walker as my student and Dave Rex, but that's
I hope they complete their work.
They have not turned in anything yet. But I did attach a storyline read aloud that worked. So,
but they're not on student Wi-Fi, or they're not on the student device with.
Well, Dave R might be. I'm not sure.
That's
but okay,
true.
Okay.
That's true.
So make sure everybody check out Liz's newsletters. They come out every Thursday morning for more information on that.
Okay.
Okay, we're caught up.
Okay. All right, so now for students to add a photo or a video, it's very similar. Okay, students are going to start here. Oh wait, I wanted to go back. Remember when we were asking why have the heart or the comment if they can't see each other's work? They can see your work. So you could post something that's wanting feedback, and that might be a way to see when your students are in, right? Post a little, hey, welcome to Seesaw. Leave a comment to let me know if you're here, and students can post a comment in there. Okay. So for students, they're going to go to the plus sign, and then they're going to see this screen. They don't see those three options that teachers see. They just see, what are your tools? Which tool do you think you might want to use for this? Now, sometimes you're going to want to tell them specifically. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's, hey, I want to see what you're doing for PE. Show me in Seesaw. You could make a drawing of it. You could take a picture of it. You could take a video of it. You could leave me in, it doesn't matter. All right. So for them, we'll go through, they went through the exact same process to submit a picture, right? It's the exact same thing as it is for you. The difference is Eddie submitted a picture here waiting for teacher approval. Okay. Remember when we went into settings and said we want things to be approved? We need some, security of making sure that everything gets posted is supposed to be posted. All right. So he's going to see waiting for teacher approval, and you're going to need to approve those. Okay. So here's what that looks like for you. So that's it for the student, right? They go to the plus sign, they choose the camera, they take a picture. They don't have to choose their name. They don't have to do anything. They just green check mark till they're done. Okay. And then it submits. That's true for anything, for a video, for a picture, for a drawing. That's their process. Now, for you, teacher view, you're going to see this down here. You have some unapproved posts, so you can remove them or approve them. Okay. The other place that you'll see these is right here. Okay. So I always worry, what if I don't see this pop up? Okay. What if I don't see this at the bottom? It's always in your inbox. So it's always inbox. You've got messaging here. That's where you can message people or see the messages you have with them. And then you've got notifications. When you click on notifications, you're going to see this. Okay. These are the recent things that have been added. Tap here because you've got things to approve. All right. And then when you click there, here's what you're going to see. Here's, this was the first picture. Here's the second one. Actually, this was a comment that I just need to look at. Now I can just scroll through the whole thing, go, yep, looks good, and then approve all. And that sends them all. Occasionally there's something, I always think the first thing we think of with, oh, I might need to delete that is if it's not appropriate, but the truth is it might just be a mistake. Oh, this kid submitted twice. This person submitted, and then I can see that they forgot that they were supposed to draw and label things. So they submitted it twice. Just delete the one that was a mistake. Okay. So you can scroll through, delete the ones you don't want, and then approve all the rest. But they need to be approved before they'll be in that student's folder. Now, here's a place also, oh, here's the video that someone sent telling the whole class whatever. You've got your 3 dots where you can edit people, check it to everyone, and put it in there. The difference is, and I think I have a slide to review this in a little bit, when you change it to everyone, you can't see who originally submitted it. So if it's not initially clear who submitted it, just add a comment and say, submitted by Eddie Einstein, submitted by, to tell who turned it in. Okay? All right, so everyone can see everyone's comments. Comments from the whole class will be visible. Items from the whole class are not visible. Okay, that's what I was meaning. So if students comment, everyone will be able to see all of the comments. Okay, so here's where, again, if you want to share this with everyone, you can see the comment. You're going to type a comment just to tell who submitted it. Here's your 3 dots. Here's your edit people. And then you'll be able to add it. But see how it makes it say everyone? So that's why we want to tell who posted it. All right, that's the workaround they have. If you can imagine, this wasn't a plan that Seesaw had maybe in the end of February to know that we were going to have students doing this kind of work. They've put together the home code in this process. And I know that Seesaw refines things fairly regularly. As a side note, if your students, particularly on iPads, because a Chromebook, the website's going to update automatically. If your students are on iPads and they're not seeing something that's the way you expect them to see, have them go into self-service, find Seesaw, reinstall, because that'll download the latest update so that they get whatever features you're expecting them to see. All right, so now I'm signed in as Sophie. I only have Sophie's folder, but I can see Eddie's photo because as the teacher, I went in and flagged it for everyone. All right. Okay, questions about students adding things and also needing to approve things. How are we doing?
Liz, it appears that there, some of the teachers have a version of Seesaw or a new version that has a send back button.
Yes. Yes, I had not planned to talk about that at all today, but we will get into that when we do activities. There are 2 features that might be useful. One is a draft that next to the green check mark, there's a save as draft so that if a student's working on something but they're not done yet, they can save the draft. The other thing is, and I think it's just activities, but it might be on items also, that yeah, you can send it back. Oh, I want you to also do this. Or maybe you have a process of a lesson. The first part is this, I want you to submit this. And okay, now I want to send it back and I want you to work on this. So maybe with the photo, you want them to show 4 steps of something. Maybe it's just the beginning of a story. And then you can send it back to them to work on the second part. So yeah, play with that. Okay.
If you're not sure who sent you something, can it be approved to capture who sent it and then you choose to share it with everyone? Does that make sense?
I'm thinking. As soon as you share it with you'll be able to see though. Hang on, let me go back to the approving slide. I can see right here that this was Eddie Einstein's comment.
Okay.
So it shows on the left side. And if I were able to scroll up on this picture, I would see the person who submitted it right here. So you can always see on the left side. But as soon as you share it with everyone, it looks like, unless they have a way to fix that in a future update, it looks like you lose this. So you can see who it is. So that's why I'm suggesting the comment to remind everyone who put it in. Okay?
Yes.
Any other questions?
We are caught up.
You guys?
Oh.
Go ahead.
I have one. Does Seesaw have videos that show students how to take and post a picture? I would love to link a video for those kiddos who are having trouble using the app.
I'm sure that they do. I'm sure that they do. Help.seesaw.me also has a place where you can ask questions. Let's see. Okay, so this might have something helpful. There we go. Okay, without watching that video right now, there might be something, or maybe just sending this link to someone might give them the information.
Someone has found some links for each one that shows how they can do it on a tablet or a laptop, and they're going to email it to you, Liz.
Perfect, please do.
And if a student posts work but makes an inappropriate comment, can you edit or delete the comment without deleting the work?
Mm-hmm. So posts and comments, oh, wait. Posts and comments are separate. So you can post work and you can delete comments. But if it's a post or a comment that's part of the item that they're submitting, then no, but that might be a time to send it back.
Okay, we're caught up.
Okay, you guys, that is all I have for today. Your goals for today: get your students into the class with the home code. That might mean some people need to transition from what they took home and change it. Add a photo, add a video yourself. That's the best way for you to see how totally easy it is. And then have students add photos and videos. Once students are in here, I'm guessing you're going to be possibly overwhelmed with the amount of photos and things that some students want to submit, because they want to connect with you and send you things. So you might have a lot. Now I want to tell you, you don't have to approve everything. Sometimes students submit things just so you can see it, but you don't necessarily need to approve it. Okay, I saw that, and then you can delete it. It doesn't need to live in their folder forever. Okay, when we're back into a more normal situation, this is a fantastic way to track progress, to have them create something to show how they do something in February, and then do it again. Have them read aloud. This is a great way for fluency to be checked in. I love the idea of sitting at a parent conference in November and going, here's the book they were reading, here's how they were reading in September. Let's listen to how they're reading now, and have those two video comparisons. There are so many things that Seesaw has the potential to do. All right, so these are your goals before our next session next week. If you want to come back and learn about, I think activities is next week. I can't remember. Okay. Any other questions?
Can you remind everybody again, how do we get the home codes to the students?
That's really kind of up to each teacher based on how they've been communicating with parents already. If your students are going to be coming in to pick up the device, printing out that one page to put with their packet of information makes a lot of sense. If they already have the device, it's going to be based on how you're communicating with them. If you're calling them on the phone, call them and talk to them, get them that code. If you're texting them, text them about it. I don't have any great solution. If they were already in Seesaw, I would say you could post it in Seesaw for them. But if they're already in Seesaw, they don't need that code.
Okay. How do we upload video links to text so they can get approved?
That's a Google form. Or for now, it'll be in the tech newsletter tomorrow. I'm trying to think if I have the code right now. I don't. It will be posted on the Mission Control site. I haven't put it there yet. In the YouTube, what's that tab? In pre-flight information, there's a YouTube page, and I'll go put that form there right now. In the meantime, you can put in a ticket, but as soon as I turn this off, I'll go put that form on there, and it'll also be in the newsletter tomorrow.
Do we access teacher page through Clever?
I believe you can, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we've answered this one, but just to review, if they already have a device at home that they have checked out from the school, is Seesaw already loaded on it?
Most likely, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it's not, it's definitely in self-service. We've either installed it on everyone's or we have it in self-service for everyone.
And students access Seesaw through Clever. Okay.
I don't know for sure the answer to that, you guys. I'm not sure. It's possible that Clever will link them if they're on a Chromebook. That would make sense to me. I just haven't tested it. But for an iPad, just open the Seesaw app. There's no need to go through Clever for that.
if students are using Chromebook, would they log in through the web.seesaw.me every time or just once?
Yep.
Every time. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody, for the good questions.
All right. Yes. I think that's it. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a teacher that's learning new things and trying new things.